Hi everybody, it is Dean Z speaking to you from my basement, and today I want to talk to you about this question. What do you do now? This question comes to us from Ethan H, who emailed to say, all right, I've submitted my application and now the waiting game begins. What does one do? So I think there are two possible tacks to take with this question. One is learn to relax, because waiting is going to be a necessary part of this process. Even if you hear from one or two schools quickly, not all schools are going to be moving quickly. Some schools take enormous amounts of time, and you just have to learn to be patient, and you will get through it. And it's great practice for when you are a lawyer, specifically if you are a litigator. You submit your case to, say, a jury, and who knows how long they're going to take to argue it out, or even worse, judges, they take a really long time sometimes to issue their decisions, and there's a complete lack of transparency about when everything will be done. At least here, you know that there is an end of the season, and at some point you will get an answer, whereas with some judges and some courts, things could go on for many months. All right, but assuming that that is not what Ethan H really had in mind, that kind of advice, I think he was more wanting to get at the question, like, is there anything he can do to help his chances along once he's submitted? And I think there are two tacks to take with this question too. One is substance and one is style, if you will. So along the lines of just learning to be patient is the style question. So schools do like to know that you are interested in their programs. So being in touch to a certain degree can be helpful. It can signal this. But every admissions officer is aware of the phenomenon of the candidate who reaches out once and you think, this person seems great, and they seem so interested in Michigan. This is like so lovely. And then they reach out a second time and you're like, okay, maybe not necessary, but this is fine. And then a third and a fourth, and at 27 emails later, you're like, there's something seriously wrong here. And they have actually undone all the good that they had achieved with their first outreach that was so impressive. So lesson one, you don't want to overdo anything. And it isn't merely style. There is some substance to why you don't want to overdo everything too. So I'll get to that in a second. But if you were going to reach out, what might one say? So if there's substantive updates, you should definitely think about sending them along. That's absolutely appropriate. So say you've changed jobs or gotten a first job. Oh my God. Yeah, this is happening. If you knock over the camera, I'm going to be so annoyed with you, Leo. Admissions cat, I mean. All right. Jeez Louise. All right. All right, this is normal. I'm just going to stay like this so you can't knock anything over. Oh. Get off. Okay. All right, I think that threat has passed. All right. Surprisingly, I've lost my train of thought. Oh, something new job, blah, blah, blah. This is the time of year where if you are still in school, you will be getting grades pretty soon. So updating with a new transcript or some awards. Some people get awards. I feel like I never really got awards in life, but some people do. So that would be nice. Get an award. You should let us know about that. Or it could be something that isn't like an achievement, but it's just important info. So suppose you have new contact info that you want a school to be aware of. You should certainly update them with that. Or suppose there is something specific that you realize after you've submitted your application that you wish you had included. So perhaps an additional essay or an addendum explaining, for example, your GPA or your LSAT. You submitted a couple months ago. Is it too late to send those materials now? Absolutely not. you definitely can do that. Each school may have a different method that they want you to follow, but I think most schools will, accept materials by email. If you have any questions about that, you can always, of course, email them once and ask, and then send along your materials. But let's now return to the style issue about the multiple contacts, because you should make it worthwhile. Like, you shouldn't be sending an update every week, because every one of those contacts creates work for the office. So someone has to answer the email, obviously, and then someone else, or maybe the same person, has to upload the information that you sent along into your law school admissions council report, right? We call ACEs. It occurs to me I have no idea what ACEs stands for, but that's the software that we use, that LSAC puts together, where we look at all your materials. So I'm going to show you a screenshot of what this looks like. So you can see there is CAS reports, which have your LSAT and GPA information. There are sometimes additional CAS reports that just have letters of rec that come in later than your original CAS report. There's the EAP, which is the document that you fill out, and along with the attachments of like personal statements and essays. And then you see where it says school. These are the things that you have emailed to the school that are supposed to be part of your application file. So they all get individually uploaded by the school. And you can see that these are all separate entries. So whoever is reviewing your application has to click first on EAP, and then on any CAS reports, and then any school materials. So each one of those, I mean, this is not the greatest software in the world. I get it. Like, it should be all in one thing, but it isn't. So each thing that you send in is an additional, 5 seconds to click on, which, is not that much. But when you aggregate that over 5,000 or 6,000 applications, it can really start to add up. And then if you have 4 or 5 additional things that you've sent along, you're talking actual time. All of which is to say, just think about whether this makes sense. How can you put it all together so it's just one communication, one upload, as opposed to, multiple iterations of outreach? You will make a much better impression on the admission staff. You will look organized. You will look like you've got your act together, and then you will create less work for the people who are doing the reviewing too. So go for it if you want to reach out and add stuff, but show some judgment, show some prudence, and that sort of thing. Okay, that is all I have on that topic. Thanks again to Ethan H. for sending it along. Now let's talk about grammar. So I may have mentioned this before, but I have my best friend from law school and I both are super into grammar. And then her best friend from work, who is now my really good friend by the transitive property of friendship, she's also really into grammar. And so often we will have lengthy text exchanges about grammar. And one of those happened yesterday. Specifically, my friend wrote, it doesn't really matter, but it's my best friend who wrote as opposed to the really good friend. So just, keep the players straight. I think that's helpful. Anyway, my best friend wrote and she said, "Am I wrong to take issue with this?" And then she laid out a sentence. And the sentence was basically, Joe Smith requested the trial court to clarify its ruling. Now, I hate emails like this or texts like this, because I was like, I don't know what part I'm supposed to be paying attention to. And then I have, performance anxiety and imposter syndrome and everything else. And, so I took a shot at what I thought she was complaining about, which was the its ruling part, because I thought, I don't know, it's a little, ambiguous the way, maybe it was a little ambiguous. Anyway, that isn't what she was worried about. So I cried a little bit. Turned out the thing she was unhappy about was the word requested. She prefers the word asked. So she would have liked to see Joe Smith asked the trial court to clarify its ruling. And the reason is, she said, I think it sounds weird to say request to do something versus ask to do something. And she said that, and I agreed. Now that she said that, I do prefer asked. So the there's a couple lessons here. I have no idea whether asked and requested, whether one is right or wrong in any kind of formal way. I honestly have no opinion. I do like asked better, and that's the point. When you're writing, you really care about the way words sound to you and if it sounds right or wrong. And you may not have violated any rule, but if it sounds off, change it. Go ahead and change it, because it'll probably sound off to someone else too. And then another little tidbit is taking out extraneous language to make a decision about whether something sounds right or not. So if you take out, the sentence was requested the trial court to clarify. If you take out the trial court phrase, so it's just requested to clarify, that sounds wrong to me. But with the trial court in the middle, it didn't immediately jump out as weird. So that's a little tip about how to figure out whether something sounds right to you or not. Yeah, that's all I got. I hope that's helpful. I hope you, when you go to law school, make friends with people who share your love of grammar too, and that it is a lifetime friendship, the way mine is. Okay, would love to hear your feedback and suggestions and your questions for topics to cover. Again, Ethan H., this one's for you. Please put any questions you have in the comments below, or send us an email to law.jd.admissions@umich.edu and put vlog in the subject line. And if you found this helpful, you might want to check out my admissions blog. There is also a link to that below. Finally, many thanks to Dustin Johnston, the brains behind this operation. Wherever you go, go blue.